responsibilities as citizens and leaders in a respectful democracy. Strengthen us to continue toward working even having a more just society that acts in harmony and interdependence with all creation. We ask this in your name. Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call.
Kara.
Here.
Conley.
Here.
Evans.
Here.
Lasky. Bates.
Here.
Startle. Gursky.
Here. We had an executive session that was held for personnel matters on August 23rd, 2014. So we need to report that executive session for personnel matters. Next, we'll have the reading of the minutes of the regular council meeting held on August 19th, 2014.
I make a motion to accept them as amended. I believe with the executive.
Second. Motion by Dave, second by Brian. Anybody have any questions or comments about this motion?
Just as clarification,
There's no
amendment. Sorry?
There's no amendment.
What I was saying is that the minutes would need to reflect the executive session on the 24th. I don't believe we did.
Well, they couldn't because the meeting was on the 19th, the executive session was on the 23rd.
I'm sorry, I think you're.
So they'll be in these minutes.
Let me amend my motion to accept them as written.
Motion by Dave, second by Brian. Anybody have any questions or comments about this motion? Does anybody from the floor wish to address this motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, no. The ayes have it. Communications.
First is from Jeanette Major, Ashley McCardle, Jennifer Miller, Richard Bachman. On October 4th, 2014, we are doing a memorial bike run for Zachary Hess, who was killed in a motorcycle accident on August 8th, 2014. We are trying to raise money to help pay for his funeral costs and memorial. We would like to have both sides of Montcalm Street for bike parking on that day. We are doing registration at 10:30 a.m. and the benefit will run all day at Freddy's Pub. If you have any questions, please contact them.
Motion to grant the request of the order.
I'll second it. Motion by Dave, second by Justin. Anybody have any questions or comments? Anybody from the floor wish to address this motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, no. Ayes have it.
Next is from Rachel Paisley, Tamaqua Ambassador Girl Scout Troop 31-11. My name is Rachel Paisley. I'm an ambassador for the Girl Scout Troop. I'm working with the Girl Scout leaders to hold the Pink Light Walk in Tamaqua again this year. I would like to have permission to hold the event similar to last year as a mini parade procession. The event would take place on October 4th with the walk to begin at 5 p.m. I am writing to you today to request the approval of the walk to take place on the street from the Bungalow Pavilion to West Broad Street by Oddfellows Cemetery and then walking down West Broad Street to Depot Square. The event will be rain or shine. Participants will be asked to wear anything pink to support breast cancer awareness. I will make sure to contact the Tamaqua Fire Police for their assistance and work with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation to complete the required permits.
Motion to grant the request in that order.
I'll second it. There's a motion by Dave and a second by Justin. Anybody have any questions or comments?
Just wanted to comment. She did this last year and it turned out really well, so I wish her the best of luck to be able with this.
Any other questions or comments? Anybody from the floor wish to address this motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, no. Ayes have it.
Next is a thank you from the Tamaqua Salvation Army. We appreciate the support you've given to the Tamaqua Salvation Army on National Night Out. You've helped make our first Kids Carnival a success for the whole community. Next is from Brian Keith, President of the Tamaqua Lions Club. The Lions Club is in the process of planning the annual Tamaqua Halloween Parade. The event is scheduled for Tuesday, October 28th at 7 p.m. with a rain date of Wednesday, October 29th. As in the past, the parade will assemble on East Broad Street in the vicinity of Math Motors and proceed west on Broad Street. Due to the bridge construction, the parade will turn north on Greenwood Street, west on Watchung Street, south on Pine, and west onto Broad, where the same route will continue. Band buses will proceed to Swatara Street to pick up marchers after the parade. We're requesting that parking be banned along the new parade route. We would appreciate having the Tamaqua Police Department escort the parade and the fire police provide protection at the intersections and other areas where needed to provide a safe night of fun for the spectators. We also request that East End Avenue be made a one-way going west from Laurel to Columbia Street, so traffic is going in one direction for drop-off of the Tamaqua band and soccer teams at the M&M storage lot. And the registration form is enclosed if Borough Council wishes to participate.
Motion to grant the request of Mr. Keith's letter.
I'll second it.
A motion by Dave and a second by Justin. Anybody have any questions or comments? Anybody from the floor wish to address this motion? Please stand up and state your name and address.
Herb Kirby, 118 Clay Street, Tamaqua, Pennsylvania. Make sure you send a letter to the fire police, so we know about it, okay?
Any other questions or comments?
Can I just ask what were those dates again?
Yes, if you stand up and state your name and address.
Sorry, Bobby Johnson, 534 East Union Street in Tamaqua.
28th and 29th, wasn't it?
Thank you.
Tuesday, October 28th, Wednesday, October 29th.
7 p.m. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, no. The ayes have it.
Next, I have attached here the 2015 minimum municipal obligations for the police and non-uniform employees' pension plans have been calculated, and it's presented tonight. Every year before the end of September, Borough Council must be informed of the MMOs for the upcoming year. The MMO for the police employees' pension plan is $263,935. The MMO for the non-uniform employees' pension plan is $53,117, and the MMO for the non-uniform defined contribution component plan is $14,000. We will require state aid and/or borough contributions in the year 2015 to meet the funding requirements for any or all of the plans. If the state aid monies are not available, the borough contributions in the year 2015 to meet the funding requirements for all pension plans would be approximately $331,052. And right now, we are waiting for the information for the 2014 allocation of state aid. And the 2013 allocation of state aid was in the amount of $190,333.57. So we need action on that, please.
What we'll be looking for is a motion to approve the minimum municipal obligation calculations for 2015.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Dave, a second by Dan. Anybody have any questions or comments?
One question, under the 2015 contributions, does that, if state aid weren't available, we're listing a number, approximate number of 331,052, does that take into consideration the contract language that puts us at a minimum amount required?
At 2,000.
Okay, so that's already
For the new
figured in,
employees?
correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that 331,000 is the sum of the police pension, the non-uniform pension, and the non-uniform defined contribution pension. So that's all.
I know it was a change this year, so I just want to make sure we captured that.
Yeah, I talked to Univest about that, and they actually had another form for the MMO for that defined contribution plan.
We don't pay that much money out to the people who are pension. We don't pay $350,000 a year. I mean, why would we have to pay more than what we pay?
It's a calculation based on future expenses. So you have to put the money away now so that 20 years from now, you have money to retire. And I mean, it's a significant amount of money. Police pension contribution is $263,000. That's just for the police. We don't have a large police force. It's quite an expensive. Having municipal pension is very.
Right now, I can say there's about 10 people on that plan.
No.
Includes houses?
No, what do you mean as far as what the police,
Right.
as far as the calculation
How
goes?
many people are right now, police pensions?
That are receiving
Right.
pensions?
That,
Give me a minute, I'll figure it out.
I don't remember.
Do you have any idea when we'll hear about the state aid?
Should be before the end of September.
Do those have any questions or comments? Anybody from the floor wish to address this motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, no. Ayes have it.
Next one is from Roseanne Weinrich from the Tamaqua Area School District. On behalf of the class of 2015, I'm writing to request permission to hold our annual whitewash of Stadium Hill on Monday, September 29th from 3 p.m. until 4:30 p.m. Rain date would be Monday, October 6th. As always, there will be absolutely no tolerance for inappropriate writings or drawings. Thank you in advance for your interest and cooperation regarding this event.
Make the motion to accept the request.
Second.
A motion by Justin, a second by Dave. Anybody have any questions or comments? Anybody from the floor wish to address this motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, no. The ayes have it.
Next is from Rosemary Gibbous regarding a water line easement. As my house and Martha's used to be one property, I get my water through Martha Curran's Lafayette Street service. My request is for a water line easement to be connected from the Squatara Street lot to my house at 309 West Rose Street. Thank you for your consideration.
Motion we approve the easement.
Motion by Brian, second by Justin. Anybody have any questions or comments? We're approving giving the easement, which is permission to cross our property with the water line.
Does that mean we're responsible for cutting the pavement and restoring it?
Bottom line, there's a lot of situations in town where two houses share the same water line, which goes to the neighbor. We've had numerous complaints and issues, Cedar Street, Center Street, the recent one, so if you're somebody that wants to take care of that issue before property's sold, and quite frankly, it's a good idea.
Any other questions or comments? Anybody from the floor wish to address this motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, no. The ayes have it.
Next is from the Schuylkill County Board of Commissioners. Our second annual Schuylkill County Youth Summit was held on Thursday, March 20, 2014, at the Schuylkill County Courthouse. That day, the students discussed the three top concerns, issues of concern: quality of life, public safety, and job opportunities. And there were many good ideas proposed, with the top concern being road safety. Other items were blight, environment, recycling, and the lack of connectivity and the lack of pride among citizens. They're holding three town hall meetings, which will be held at three different locations: Sweet Arrow, Lake County Park, Schuylkill Mall, and the Tamaqua Area High School. And the one at Tamaqua Area High School will be on October 29, 2014. The time is 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. and it is in the Tamaqua Area High School auditorium. And lastly, I have a letter from Tony Broderick, Chairman of the Tamaqua Planning Commission. The Tamaqua Planning Commission has completed the review of the Saldo and zoning joint ordinances, and we offer the attached document as our comments and opinions. Thank you for the opportunity to be of service to the Tamaqua Borough Council in this regard. And there are the attachments for everyone's review.
that took a lot of work.
Yes, sir, it did.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other correspondence?
That's all.
Before we go to the borough manager,
I'm sorry, maybe I can address this quality enough, is that something that's going to be part of the report?
Yeah, we're going to mention.
Okay, never mind, take your part.
before we get to Kevin's report, so we're on the communications. Usually we just go with correspondence that we received, but we're gonna take this opportunity to send some correspondence. I'm gonna turn the agenda over briefly to Justin, the chairman of our Housing and Neighborhood Committee.
In June, thanks to District Attorney Christine Holman and Chief Weaver, and there's a stack of letters that are going to be going out. We had a huge drug bust as a community as well, where, and these letters are of appreciation to Chief Weaver and Christine Holman, so you guys can come up what we can do. The letter states, I am writing on behalf of the Tamaqua Borough Council to thank you for your contributions to the drug bust in our community on June 16th, which led to the arrest of 20 people on drug-related charges. The apprehension of these individuals is the result of many months of surveillance, investigation, and undercover work by the District Attorney's Office, School County Drug Task Force, and local law enforcement personnel. We appreciate the commitment by these agencies to deter illegal drug use and other crimes in our area. Through these efforts, you are making our neighborhoods a safer place to live and work and improving the quality of life for our residents. The Tamaqua Borough Council commends you for your tireless efforts, dedication, and service to our community. So thank you.
Thank you. On three, ready? One. Thanks.
If you want to say a few words, I don't know. We really appreciate the efforts.
I'll be very brief. I just want to say to council, thank you, members of the community. You are very fortunate to have a chief like Chief Weaver manning your force here. I wish all of my police departments will run like him.
I was going to comment on her. The District Attorney's Office and District Attorney support this a lot. And we couldn't do what we do without their support now. So we thank you for your help too.
You're welcome.
Thanks for coming out tonight. I know you're usually only here when the bad guys are getting out. You can see we have a lot of good people at Tamaqua too, so we appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you, Justin. Anything else? Okay, Borough Manager's report.
Yes. The first item I had put on my report was the 2014 Community Development Block Grant application. This is the annual allocation that we receive. It's passed from the federal government to the state, eventually to us. We received notification recently that our allocation for 2014 will be slightly higher than it was last year. The amount is $106,521. Last year's allocation was $104,286. We also received notice of the due date for applications. That will be on January 3rd of 2015. So if you recall, we already had our first public hearing, so we would be prepared when they finally released the numbers to us. I guess at this point, I would suggest Councilman like the second public hearing. We're required to advertise our projects that we intend to apply for, and then hold a second public hearing before we leave the application submitted to the state. So I don't need an answer tonight. I'm just putting that out there for everyone.
Would we be ready by the third Tuesday in October?
I don't see why not.
Would it be okay with council if we do it then? The sooner we give clarity to our housing and rehab department, the sooner they can get working on the final application. We have budget time coming up, so we'll have other things to do too. So I don't see any benefit to waiting past that. So the third Tuesday in October, and we'll do it at 6:30.
That's what we normally do. Okay, third Tuesday at 6:30. And well, concerning our CDBG program, we often use our CDBG funds to pay for our demolition program. Our community development officer, Dan Schrader, has prepared specifications for the demolition of some properties in the borough. And they would be 67 Hunter Street, 252 Cottage Avenue and 301 Pitt Street. So I would ask council if you would allow us to advertise for bids for those projects.
Make a motion to advertise for bids for demolition of the 3 properties noted in the Borough Manager's report.
Second. Motion by Dave, a second by Brian. Anybody have any questions, comments?
Just come to the question, I think we have probably about another 30 homes backlogged on that list, give or take. Thank you.
Yeah, Mayor, you're about right. It's 20-some, I think. And just for everyone's benefit, our code officers prioritize the properties for us, so it indicated to us that these are among the worst properties out there. We prioritize them and slowly pick away at the worst ones.
You're right, Mayor, we have a lot more properties than we do money. Any other questions or comments? Anybody from the floor wish to address this motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, no. The ayes have it.
And actually, speaking of properties, there is a judicial sale coming up at the county courthouse. The judicial sale is one step in the process when people walk away from their properties or stop paying their taxes. The first being the tax sale. When they don't sell a tax sale, then they're exposed to judicial sale. When they don't sell a judicial sale, then they're placed on a repository. But at any rate, the county has given us a list of properties that they're exposing to judicial sale, and they set the sale date as Wednesday, September 24th at 10 a.m. in courtroom 1, courthouse. And there are, you say 11 properties on the list. Would you like me to read? Okay.
Look right into Andy's camera.
I'll try to read and look in the camera at the same time. I'm not really good at that. Okay, the properties are 104 Pitt Street, 335 Rose Street, 421 West Broad Street, 13 Market Street, 310 East Broad Street, 256 Cottage Avenue, 266 Van Gelder Street, 214 Race Street, 160 West Spruce Street, 63.5 Bow Street, and 750 East Broad Street. Again, they will be exposed for sale on September 24th at 10 a.m. That is a bidding process. Bidders have to register with the county in advance, and there is a minimum bid set for each property. So that's that.
Before we get off that, I would encourage you, if you live in any of the neighborhoods near these properties, to take a look at the properties, encourage people who might be interested to purchase them. The minimum bids start at like $750 to maybe $1,000, and some of these properties nobody will bid on. And so if nobody purchases these properties, they don't have a good life after that sale. Depending on who purchases them, they may not have a good life after these sales. So I would encourage you to pick up a copy of the list of properties that are coming up for sale and work with your neighbors and figure out if you can't find somebody who will put these things back to good use.
And the next item I placed on the agenda was our 2014 insurance policy renewal. All of our renewal forms were completed and submitted to our insurance agent. Although, as is usually the case, I don't have any figures to give to you this evening. We typically get those about a week before the expiration date. Many of our policies renew October 1. This would be our property, auto, liability insurances. They all renew October 1st. So what I'd like to ask council, what I normally ask for this time of year is if you'd be willing to refer the insurance renewal to myself and or the finance committee to review and execute when we do get those numbers.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Dave, a second by Justin. Anybody have any questions or comments? Anybody from the floor wish to address this motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, no. The ayes have it.
Thank you. And, well, as David alluded to earlier, we also received notice from the county about their fall cleanup program. They have this every year, and it's held at various locations throughout the county. They'll accept Freon bearing appliances like air conditioners, refrigerators, bulky items, tires for a small fee, and many electronic devices.
There's a $10 fee for Freon bearing appliances too.
Right. So this is a good way to get rid of those items that we've been hoarding in our basements because we can't put them out in garbage.
If I may, electronics are on the list too, I don't know if you said that, but.
Yeah. Particularly electronics, we've been getting a lot of phone calls about how do I get rid of a TV set or computer or whatnot, because it's now prohibited by law to put them out for garbage pickup. We're required to recycle those things. So this is a good way to dispose of electronic devices and other things that you can't throw out into a herd. Our garbage men are not allowed to pick up appliances that have Freon in them unless they've been tagged that the Freon is removed. They're also not allowed to pick up tires and other hazardous materials. So the cleanup will be at the Tamaqua transfer station next week, Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and on Saturday, the 27th, from 7 a.m. to noon. So again, that's a good way to get rid of materials that you can in garbage collection. And as Dave indicated, TVs and computers, by the way, can be taken down there. There's no charge for those. Tires carry a fee of $2 or $3, depending if they have rims or not. Freon appliances, $10, and certain bulky items there's a charge for as well. We also got a notice of a hazardous waste event that the county is having on November 15th at the school and mall. People can dispose of certain hazardous household items on that day, and there's no charge for that either. That includes things like antifreeze, paint thinner, pesticides, oil-based paints, things of that nature. So we have this here in the municipal building if anyone would like more information. I also had employee vacancies on the list. I put together a list of employees that are transferred or are on probation, and also a list of positions that are presently vacant. I provided that to the finance committee.
Make a motion, we approve the transfers for the employees effective on the September 19th date.
Second. Motion by Brian, second by Dave. Anybody have any questions or comments? There's 4 of them. Anybody from the floor wish to address this motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, no. The ayes have it.
And well, due to several people taking advantage of the early retirement, we presently have 6 employees on probation. The first probation would expire October 9th. I just wanted to make note of that. I guess there may be another council meeting between now and that date.
I'll make a motion that pending the approval of the borough manager that we approved during the probation date 10/9. for Jared Bernitzky, wastewater treatment plant operator.
Second.
A motion by Brian, a second by Dave. Anybody have any questions or comments? Anybody from the floor wish to address this motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, no. The ayes have it.
While we're talking about employees, Finance Committee interviewed for the assistant mechanic street work position the other day. Carrie, myself, and Brian, Jeff, and Kevin was there, and Rob. And while the applicants, I'd like to make a motion to hire Justin McCarroll from Tamaqua to fill that position.
Second motion.
Motion by Thomas, second by Brian. Anybody have any questions or comments?
And what position was this for again?
Assistant mechanic slash borough worker, street worker.
Give a recommended start date.
I would imagine after Kevin could hammer that out, I would imagine 2 weeks is appropriate.
Yeah, typically 2 weeks.
For clarification, David Lesniak retired, Earl moved into Dave's position. Is he still under his 30-day trial period? Earl's still under his trial period?
No.
No,
That expired.
he's graduated.
Yeah.
And then his position will be to fill the position that Earl was.
Any other questions or comments? Anybody from the floor wish to address this motion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Anyone opposed, no. Ayes have it.
Do you have a question?
No. Tom.
Anything else, Kevin?
I think we have one or two other, oh, yes, actually, the vacancies. At the last council meeting, you authorized the posting of 2 vacancies in-house. That was done, and the deadline to apply was today, and we received no letters of interest in those positions. That was one vacancy for the street maintenance worker and one for water distribution worker. So since we have no in-house applicants, we're now moving outside. And seek,
So we have a pool of applicants for both positions, correct?
That's all I have.
Thank you, Kevin. Police chief.
George's question on the pension, I think there's 9 collecting pensions right now, not counting widows. How many widows it would be? So there's 9 collecting. The only thing I have, Mr. President, is this Saturday, the award ceremony at the Community Life Center, 6 p.m. Have to see us all there.
Just have a question. I saw that there was some information here about the radios. Have we, I know I missed the last meeting, have we moved forward at all with those? I saw that there was an estimate in here.
It's on for the next committee. It's on your.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Anything else, chief?
No.
Committee reports, public safety committee.
So thanks for leaving. So we did get a quote from Breeze Communications for the new police department radios. We've been pretty diligent, chief, and the solicitor sent letters asking the questions that need to be asked. So we did get a quote, but we're not prepared to approve that quote until we get some further clarification. Basically what happens is, what it comes down to is, one manufacturer has been approved. One manufacturer can basically say that they meet the requirements that the commissioners have put forth. Those requirements are still under question. The task force has been assigned to work with this, and as yet the task force, to my knowledge, has not come back with a recommendation. And there is one commissioner that's questioning the need for over-the-air programming, and that's what all hinges. So, a county task force with police and fire and EMS to look into this. So it has to do with over-the-air programming, which only Motorola can offer. Therefore, the pricing is a little bit higher than what we could get from other places. They've been doing their research and have found that everyone that they've spoke to that has the over-the-air programming and use isn't worth it, they don't like it, it doesn't work. So on the county level, they're asking those questions. So before we, and that is what's driving the Motorola model. So until we get clarification as to what direction they're gonna go, I don't wanna enter into any contracts for radios until we absolutely know what they're going to do. And I think that I talked to the chief on this, and we, looked at it and said, yeah, that it's the right thing to do at this point, to hold off.
I know the fire team has gathered some support from EMS and police and have created this roundtable to discuss the issues. I certainly have taken my share of jabs at the whole process, gathered as much data as I can. Last thing I want to do is spend the amount of money that they want for this program. I discussed it with some commissioners, and also Michael and I shared a conversation with Mr. Green, along with the chief last week before last week. And following up with Commissioner Hess afterwards, it's my best understanding that the county commissioners purchased a $16 million system through Motorola specifically. Only capable components of working with the system that the county purchased are Motorola components. And I know that Kenwood is being prompted to try and be compatible. I believe Harris is not even interested in being compatible. And at this point, the only options we have are to use Motorola components with the system. Fire does have a time period to wait before they are pushed into this. And hopefully by the time fire comes around Kenwood, which is about half the cost, we'll be able to comply with Motorola's programs.
Or they could choose to drop the over-the-air programming, that way any vendor can go onto the system.
We have a letter from the county saying that that they've already made this decision.
They spent $16 million to do it, they're not changing that.
They'd have to change their mind and undo what they did.
And wait a lot.
They would have to change their mind on one component. So they can still use the whole system that they want to use. It's one component of that system. And I believe it was Commissioner Hess that raised the flag to say, this is crazy. Why are we doing this for one piece of a system that, quite frankly, the municipality, or the local Berks County is using it? And in speaking with Berks County Communications Director, he said it doesn't work. The whole thing is to be able to program a radio to simplify things over the air, so you don't have to go there. We're told that that process takes 14 hours per radio. So, and it doesn't work. So what's the sense of having that portion of the system if it's not working in other communities and other municipalities? That's the question. Nobody's questioning saying you've got to scrap this whole plan. They're saying this piece of it, we need to look at.
Did he tell you they were going to, or when?
We don't have any indications of it. So we don't know.
So the task force is still looking at that question,
Right, and they're pushing to have it done, and fire is the driving force in that. By all means, the fire department, School County, who are the largest on the impact scale of this, cost-wise. I mean, they're the ones who are driving it, and they have cushion, a time to beat it. They're getting grants as well, where the police doesn't get the grants, and the police is being told we have till October as a deadline. And then they're gonna turn off our analog signal, and we're gonna be faced with not having communication.
Well, the fire department's applying for grants, so there's no guarantee that there's a grant. They're applying, so there's grants that are available that they can apply for, but there's no guarantee that they're going to get them. I'm still not satisfied with the answer, so.
I don't think any of us are satisfied with the charge of being billed for radios more than what an automobile cost us for the police department. I think at this point, what's nerving is, they're telling us what started in October, or what started in 2012 as a deadline, has been pushed back, and now they're pulling the plug and saying October is your deadline, October 2015. We're turning off the digital or the analog signal for police services, and where are we if we?
In 1992, these things came out. It's a pager. And the county said in 1992, this will be the only means of dispatch in 1992. Guess what I have at my house? The pager that worked prior to this in 1992 that they're still using as a dispatch. So, I mean, I don't hold them for their time frames. So my take on this is I'd like the solicitor to send a letter to the county commissioners asking them for clarification on the position of over-the-air programming. If it is set in stone, if it's something that they're looking at. Once they say yes or no, they can say, no, we're not looking at it, you need it, or yes, we're looking at it, we'll know where we need to go.
Just to the commissioners, because all my responses have been, you got my
Yeah,
letter, just.
to whomever you send, the commissioner, the director of 911.
He's the one who always
Yes, got
responds.
it. That way we'll know. It'd be strictly for, the question needs to be over-the-air programming. What the status is of the over-the-air programming.
So over-the-air programming versus plugging it into a computer and letting it download from the computer?
Correct.
Okay, so it's a wireless download
Right.
versus a...
And there's some other features in there that are, to my understanding, are arguable.
Right.
So it's just, like I said, we need to find out that piece of the puzzle. I still give up, I won't give up hope yet that that'll change, that'll open this up.
Do you know what the cost difference would be if that does happen?
Oh, the cost difference, and Chief, you may have it, but I mean, it's crazy difference. I mean, there is such a
When we talked to Greek,
cost
when we
difference.
talked to the county contractor, they said there's nobody else offering what they have.
Motorola. See, so with the radio system, it's Motorola, and that's all you can use, and you have to use one distributor, that's it. If they open it up, you've got about 4 other brand radios out there then it becomes competitive. So, that's the issue.
I think you're being overly optimistic that they're
I
gonna
am.
open it up. I mean, they haven't given us any indication. I wasn't in on your conversation with Commissioner Hess, but
And I
unless he
spoke-
told you, yes, we're doing it next week.
I just spoke with Commissioner Hess the other day, and he did not indicate at all that he was going to be making any changes to this. My last words with him were specifically about the county commissioners were the ones that purchased this plan for $16 million and are now costing each municipality a large sum of money to comply with the system that they picked. Whether they knew what they were picking or whether they had somebody who was advising them on what to choose, but they chose something that cost a large sum of money, which is now costing each individual municipality another big chunk of change, just to comply with what they picked. Whether they knew anything about it or not, they were still the ones that made the decision and voted on it. And that is disheartening.
I mean, if the rest of the council's ready to proceed with a vote on the purchase, the system,
The items that we
that's fine.
spec were a stripped down version. We certainly weren't looking to outfit every staff member and every vehicle. We stripped it down to the 2 newest vehicles and 6 handheld units to comply and make sure we had something going as the process started. That was our plan. If there was an opportunity for a Kenwood or another vendor to come along in the near future, next year, the year after, at a much reduced cost, we would then be able to buy other components at a lesser rate.
But I mean, you can argue back and forth, and I understand the need for the radios in the vehicles, and we've had this conversation with the chief and understand. If these radios allow me to talk from Tamaqua, Pennsylvania to Pittsburgh, PA, that's on my lapel, why do I need a radio to put in the car? Every officer's got one. So if that radio can talk across the state, why do I need one put in the car that's double the cost? It just,
And the chief made the same, did he make the
Right.
same,
and I'm not saying anything bad about our process internally. these are questions that you can put it out in front of the communications, the commissioners, and it's the whole runaround, you know, so I'm just not convinced on it. Again, if the rest of council wants to make a motion to proceed with it, that's fine, but I'm just not satisfied with where they are.
And, yeah, and I mean, that's an option too, to get a couple of portables to cover us and not outfit the cars at this point. At least we would have something that they did change October 1st, if they made that change, we weren't left without any radio coverage in Cincinnati.
And I'm not necessarily saying that I don't believe in the car systems, because eventually I think you need to have it, but, I mean, let's face it. So, we are not, and I'll go back to the 1992, and I hate to prolong this argument, but I can go back to the 1992 statement, where Tamaqua is not the only municipality that's going through that. And for them to tell me that on October 1st, they're gonna cut everything off, say, we can't communicate to Tamaqua police whatsoever. They are not gonna do that, and I'll tell you what, if they do that, there's gonna be other municipalities that are gonna have the same issue. And I'll be the first one standing up, that when something happens, why did you disconnect our system when it wasn't set up? I don't care if you gave us a date or not, until everybody's ready to go, it shouldn't be switched over. That's just my feeling.
I certainly don't disagree, and I've made the argument the same, that we're left without coverage, which we've been left without coverage at the beginning of this process, when they started playing with the digital bands. We were left on the street with an incident, am I correct, Chief, where we had no coverage, we had no radio coverage. We were left with that already. I've expressed that to the commissioners, and at the end of the day, we've had plenty of notice that they're gonna do this, and that's my concern, if something happens and they do make the change, completely turn off the analog signal, left with only digital, and we don't own the radios, where are we left with it that way?
So what would you like us to do?
There's a proposal for 2 mobile units and 6 portables. I mean, if you wanna cut the mobile units out for right now, they're $6 grand a piece. That would be a savings of 12 grand, take us down to about 20 grand for the cost of the handhelds.
If you're gonna get the equipment, you get the equipment.
Yeah. I don't think with public safety we should even, okay.
But just to be clear then, what you were saying though, the difference between the police departments and the fire departments, because they're both on analog right now, is they would be turning off the analog system for the police, but the analog system for the fire
It's still gonna
would
continue.
still be in place.
Which goes back to the original system. It's all a thing saying, we own the system, on October 4th, I'm gonna force you to buy from me because I'm gonna turn it off.
I'm not disagreeing.
I know, we've had the argument, but we all know that,
It's been very frustrating for all of us, absolutely.
I just don't have any confidence that there's gonna be an alternative for us in the foreseeable future. I haven't got any indication from the county that they're gonna change what type of radio system they're gonna use beyond over-the-air programming. The risk we run is if we buy them now, and then a month from now, the county changes their mind and changes it, we will have overpaid by a couple $1,000
a lot of $1,000.
The commissioners are the ones who made the decision. The commissioners are the ones that will make any future decisions. They are being led by their advisors on what to do. And their advisors are the ones who came up with the system in the first place. So I would be shocked if they made a change. Because their advisor, Scotty, is one of them. Bob's another one. And that's the information that they took, that's how they built this system. And I just don't see them making a change to it.
I'm gonna make a motion to purchase the 2 car custodian and the 6 mobiles, which is listed right here.
2 mobiles, 6 portables. The
That's
cars
what
are
it says.
mobiles.
Oh, okay, 2 mobiles and 6 portables.
Can your motion clarify the cost?
Yeah, the cost of $33,735.
Cost of a new police car.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Justin, a second by Dave. Anybody have any additional questions or comments?
Just one additional question, so along with that is where the money's coming from, and I believe that there's a finance package put together in there that they can lease it. So, that same finance package is through the folks that let us down this road. My question is, there's gotta be a better finance package out there. I mean,
From Motorola, to my understanding.
right,
Finance.
again, there's gotta be a better finance that's out there. We wrap all our financing through, I shouldn't say all of it, we do a lot of our leasing and financing, police cars and everything else, through a third party. So, this proposal has it to go through the people that put us down this road, Motorola and Greens Communication. So,
Do we purchase it through a lease or do we buy it through?
My suggestion is we use our equipment fund as a finance option, and that's why we have the equipment fund.
So, but my point is, I'm not saying that the lease option's not a bad option. Or say you drain your equipment fund down completely by that number, but you can take a little bit every year, and in 3 years it's done. You can do better with budget and everything else. My question is the only group that we've got a package for financing from is through Motorola, who again, let us down this road. So do we trust what they're doing?
I don't think we got that far because we kind of got stuck on this, on what we're actually gonna do, that we didn't get to financing.
Let's vote to see whether or not we're gonna purchase them first, then we can talk about financing. That'd be all right. Anybody else have any questions or comments? Anybody from the floor wish to address this motion?
Andrew Lavendruth. What was it, Tamaqua, what was the cost again? I missed that.
$33,735.
Thank you.
Can I ask you a question? Are these radios, they have to be ordered, are they on a shelf somewhere where I could go over to Pottsville and buy them off a shelf on October 2nd?
No, these are specifically for police utilization
I'm
only.
saying, if we say no, and they turn the analog off, and it's digital, could we go there that day and buy the radios?
You don't think that I can't say this for any truth, but you don't think Bob Reed's not sitting with them since he's got out for the whole county? He has 500 sitting there, you know? He's got them.
Within the day.
So we'd be able to get them the next day.
So why would
If they don't turn the analog off, then we have time. If you could go over there and buy them the next day, go and buy them.
We would make capital purchases that way without having approval of council,
We'd have to come back and vote on it.
which would be good.
Well, I mean, we,
And we did. I mean, we were very diligent in going to the table, talking with other vendors in other states and trying to get numbers. And at the end of the day, we're coming down to what was probably the 5th deadline on these digital radio frequencies.
There is no doubt that you and the chief have done the homework, no doubt whatsoever. Again, this is something that we're getting forced into, and I just don't like the fact that we're getting forced into it
The chief
without at least giving it one more pushback.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. I mean,
But how many pushbacks have we given already?
We've given 3. This has been going on for 4 years.
And they have yet to change anything.
They have yet to come out with, so the 4 years they've been dealing with, since when was this on the hot button? When did we know about radios? About 8 months ago, 7 months
It
ago.
was this spring.
So we got $16 million, we've known about it, not us, but it's been going on for 3 or 4 years. We've had 6 months, 7 months to plan for a $40, $50, or $60,000 hit.
Well, what they did was they put out proposals for this system. They had help preparing the specification, and only one company was able to bid on the specification, that was Motorola. And so that's what the county awarded it to for the system. So that's why I really don't think they're gonna back off of where they are. They put this out, they've awarded it to this company, and we're stuck paying a very hefty price tag for it.
as did the county taxpayers paying $16 million for this system to begin with.
And don't get me wrong, the radios are nice, and they're secure, they're much different than what we have now.
Very clear, very clean sound. We didn't always have that. There was quite a few times over in this area that we've had some dead spots, and it's been great. Even West Penn has been very clean and clear.
Dead
correct?
spots created by whom?
And I really do not want to see our police department in the dark for a day.
Portables are 65, 65. Now, the total for 6 and 2 comes to 54,865, but then we have left the PA state contract and Schuylkill County discount, 21,130, that's where we get to 33,735.
So they're approximately 40% off, roughly.
the ones I checked out of the area? Oh, you mean?
No, list to quote.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? Anybody from the floor wish to address this motion? You've missed some of the episodes, we've talked about this at several previous council meetings. If anybody has a question or a comment about this? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, no?
No.
One no? Ayes have it.
Mr. President, I'd like to rescind my motion for the solicitor to send a letter.
Yes, second.
I'll take that back. That's it, Mr. President. Just under, so now that we've approved the rate of purchase, how are we looking to finance them? Can we contact at least, can we contact someone outside of the green organization for financing? Suggesting who we buy our, and do our police cars and vehicles at least at the bare minimum, look and see what's out there.
Ken and I briefly discussed that, and we figured out cheaper way.
And there's always the option of using the funds from the equipment.
Well, I think you'll need to use the funds for the equipment fund. It's just how you're gonna set it up and pull it out of the equipment fund. I'd much rather, instead of taking a lump sum hit on the equipment fund, take it over a set amount over the 3 years or whatever it is. And that's the way they set it up through their proposal, but there's gotta be better stuff out there. The people that do the financing every day, gonna do a whole lot better probably than what he can offer you.
It's okay to finance it and use the equipment fund to pay that financing, but just remember you can't spend it twice. And so there's already, the police cars are already coming out of the equipment fund. So when you look at the fund balance that's in the equipment fund, remember that we have payments that are coming out. So if you do go with any type of financing, just remember you can only spend it once. So Chief, will you come up with some alternatives, and we'll put Kevin on some alternatives for financing, in addition to the proposal that we have given?
Yes. Release the station right on the.
Is it October 1st or by the end of October? We'll still have the old radios, right?
He's not gonna take, we have 4 loaners, he's not gonna take them off.
But I'm saying the old radio, we still have the old radios, right?
Yes.
So October 2nd, can I borrow one for 5 minutes? Curious.
Anything else, Brian?
No, that's it. I said it enough.
Neighborhood downtown historic district.
I have 4 motions. The first motion is to advertise for bids for the sale of 311 Orangeburg Street.
Second.
Motion by Justin and second by Dave. Anybody have any questions or comments?
I just had a question under the motion. You've advertised this for bid, so twice before.
You only have to have it twice before you can negotiate.
But I think the question was, that there's been a significant amount of time that's passed from the last,
Oh, yeah.
from the
I
second,
remember this.
from the second one until now. So even though we've advertised it twice before, will we be permitted to negotiate with a prospective buyer at this point, or?
How long was it been with you? It only says 2 in the statute. Doesn't say a length of time. But if we waited like 10 years, you know, it's.
That's less than that.
A couple of years.
I would do it, I would do it.
This will be the third time. Oh, sure.
We did it once before, we did it the second time, we didn't, so we'll go through the second.
It would just be a matter of saving the cost of advertising, but if, you know, for a matter of expediency, it would just.
My suggestion would be advertise it in that way, and if we get somebody, then we can negotiate, and also you give other people an opportunity to, not a chance at somebody else.
Sure.
You want sealed bids and no minimum, correct?
Sealed bids with no minimum?
Yeah.
Motion for second. Any other questions or comments about the motion to advertise bids for sale of 311 Old Church Street? Anybody from the floor wish to address this motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, no. Ayes have it.
A motion to adopt the resolution revising the 2009 Community Development Block Grant Program.
Second.
Motion by Justin, second by Dave. Anybody have any questions or comments? Get a copy of the resolution in your packet. Anybody from the floor wish to address this motion? If not, we'll have a roll call vote.
Carol.
Yes.
Conley.
Yes.
Evans.
Yes.
Mace.
Yes.
Sturgill.
Yes.
Gursky.
Yes. Motion passes.
A motion to adopt the resolution revising the 2010 Community Development Block Grant Program.
Second.
Motion by Justin, second by Dave. Anybody have any questions or comments? Anybody from the floor wish to address this motion? If not, roll call vote.
Carol.
Yes.
Conley.
Yes.
Evans.
Yes.
Mace.
Yes.
Sturgill.
Yes.
Gursky.
Yes.
And a motion to adopt the resolution revising the 2011 Community Development Block Grant.
Second.
Motion by Justin, second by Dave. Anybody have any questions or comments? Anybody from the floor wish to address this motion? If not, roll call vote.
Carol.
Yes.
Conley.
Yes.
Evans.
Yes.
Mace.
Yes.
Sturgill.
Yes.
Gursky.
Yes. Motion passes. Anything else, Justin?
No, that's it.
Recreation and Youth Committee.
Yeah, one item. I serve on the Eastern Schuylkill Recreation Commission. I'm the council's elected officials representative from the borough on that commission. And recently we've received notice from Jason Forrest, who's the executive director of the commission and has been for the previous 14 years, of his intent to resign. He's going, his last day of work for the ESRC will be on this coming Friday. And Jason's been instrumental in securing grant funding for all of the member municipalities plus the Tamaqua School District. He had given a report here last September, I believe, on the programs that he had secured funding for just for the borough of Tamaqua alone. I do not remember the dollar amount, but it was a significant dollar amount that he had acquired for parks, for programs that included Dutch Hill, playground creation, and some other projects with at the bungalow, I believe, and that there are a couple other ones that I can just off the top of my head, I do not remember. In addition to securing funding for the surrounding municipalities that participate as well, Rushwalker, Schuylkill, West Bend, Coaldale, Middleport, and the Tamaqua School District. So he will be missed. We thank you for his service. And in due course, in a short time frame, the commission will be advertising for a position, for the open executive director position. And if there are interested applicants, they can wait for that solicitation to come open. As I'm the president of the commission, they can also submit their applications to me if they so desire. We have no timetable, specific timetable for filling the position, but we're talking right now in the midst of talking about interim operations. So there may be some programs that people are accustomed to seeing that that may not be available on their typical time frame. We're going to try and keep that to a minimum.
Can we send Jason a letter from the borough of thanks and appreciation for all the hard work that he's done for us?
That's appropriate. The commission itself plans to honor him in some way as well, but that's still under development, but we're working on that.
Hard enough working for one municipality, right? Kevin, he works for 9.
Yes.
And has done a really nice job for 14 years. And you could drive by any playground or park in the area and notice. And the proof of his value is that they've had a lot of municipalities want to join the Football Recreation Commission because of the benefits that are there. So he will be missed. He's done a very nice job.
One of the benefits that he had was he worked with Mike on a number of those. There was one solicitor for about 8 of those municipalities.
Anything else, Dave?
No, that's it for me, thank you.
Okay, Mayor's report.
A couple of items, a lot of questions lately. 'Tis the season coming up here, and I'm not talking about Christmas, I'm talking about Halloween. Trick or treat night will be October 31st, Friday night. Maintain it to Halloween as best as I can. Some of the questions came up about the football game, and the football game is at Marion, so there's no safety issues with the folks on the street, so we'll stay on October 31st this year. Boroughs Association annual fall dinner is this Thursday at Trinity Church. We're hosting it here in Tamaqua, and Herb and Evelyn will be cooking for us. I look forward to a great meal. If anybody would like to get in yet, as a late comer, there's still some space for any of our other council members who are not on the list yet. And the last item I have, I'm going to ask Mr. Kirby to stand up on behalf of the Tamaqua Fire Police. And the Tamaqua Safety Initiative, Leona, had contacted me with a couple of certificates for our fire police, thanking them for all of their hard work in helping with the National Night Out. So we had several of your members that attended. I believe your sister was one of them. I'm not sure where you were that night, but nevertheless, you did not attend. So on behalf of the fire police, Herb is here today, and I will also attend your meeting on the 4th. Okay? The 5th. All right. We'll give you the envelope, and I will be there to distribute them to your staff. You certainly can. You are accepting them. Thank you very much. That's all. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody from the floor wish to address council about any matter? Stand up and state your name and address.
Hi, my name is Bobby Johnson. I live at 534 East Union Street. I have my parents who live at 321 Columbia Street. We're having a lot of issues with the neighbor. Very ignorant, he's always drunk, pounds on the wall. My dad's 72 years old, my mom's 58, 59. We call the police and nothing happens. Now this is an ongoing thing and I need help.
This case law on that, if we can't hear noise out in the street, we're forbidden from the Superior Court of Pennsylvania to make an arrest.
I mean, the guy's on probation, he's always drunk, always. He drives a van for one that has no insurance. The inspection sticker is 4 or 14, he still drives it. He told my parents, told some of the neighbors here, that Officer Weaver left him drive it home. My complaint is, the biggest complaint, okay, when it happened to me, my car got towed.
We got tickets.
Got tickets. Why is he getting away with everything? He's got his ignorant kids on the porch throwing pierogies onto my mom's side of her house. I am 33 years old and yes, I run after these kids. There's no reason for it. I call for help and nothing is done.
Well, I would encourage you to work with the chief. Certain things are going to be illegal and things that the police can take action. Some things are not. And really, it's up to the officers to, and certainly noise and things like that. They have to be able to hear it from.
Okay, but if the officers are in my parents' house, they heard it. Nothing is done. We have a text message from the one daughter. Call the cops, he hit one of the kids. We call the cops. The mother is a coward. She is scared of her life. Nothing's getting done. I'm sorry, Rick.
You may be able to, well, no, you can make.
This is crazy, though.
We can only enforce the laws the courts allow us to enforce.
Right, and I agree.
Well, hold on.
And there's oftentimes when people are unwilling to step forward if someone saw it and if she's unwilling to say it, to witness it. And
Right, but what I'm saying is my dad's 72 years old. He's a Vietnam vet. cannot walk barely, has shrapnel on the head. I am asking for help. They used to live out on
Broad Street.
West Broad Street. $22,000 water bill. They got thrown out. They had nowhere to go. This is the only place that was for rent in Tamaqua that took them rather fast.
Are they renting it?
They are.
Have you contacted the property owner?
She just got a hold of their landlord through Jamie Miller, because she has the same landlord. He's not aware of none of this. He wasn't even aware that he was on probation. So why isn't, I mean, who do I have to contact? I mean, is it gonna help to contact his probation officer? Probably not. I mean, he's abusing his kids. And that's
The whole family.
That's one thing. I mean, I got out of a 7-year relationship because my ex-husband was very abusive. And to see these kids, and then supposedly his daughter beats up a kid at M&T Bank? No, something's got to get done. The kids are rude and ignorant.
I have a question. Is there an ordinance in this town where you have renters and say that the police are called to disturbance like 3 times within a certain amount of period, do they get evicted, or do you not have that ordinance here?
We don't have that.
You don't have that.
Now, see, somebody said they just started that.
No, they are required to register the property and have it inspected and keep an accurate list of who's living in the house.
So you can have a nuisance renter in the same spot with repeated police or whatever coming out and there's no consequence.
I mean, that's why I brought, these are my mom's neighbors, all of them.
Yeah.
And I mean,
I'm sorry you're going through what you're going through. It's not fun to have neighbors that are troublesome. There's only two enforcement agencies that the borough has. One is the police department, so that's anything that's criminal. So any child abuse, any vehicle issues, things like that. And the other is our code enforcement officer, and that would be if there's any issues with the property maintenance. And then, well, actually, I guess the fire department would be another enforcement agency if there was any fire hazards. But a lot of what you're talking about would fall under criminal, and our police are very good when there's something that they can enforce. And oftentimes, the laws are written in a way where it makes it difficult, because it's clearly a problem, it's clearly something needs to get done about it, but oftentimes the way the laws are written, it's difficult for the police to take action.
that's what I'm saying. The one officer was in my parents' house. He goes to bed and he's like this. And I'm like, seriously, how are they supposed to sleep like that? I couldn't. And that's just what I'm saying. It's all inside.
Yeah, because that's something that our police can take action on that.
Mike, you probably aware of this, Superior Court decision on noise ordinance from a house.
For disorderly conduct.
You can
Unreasonable
literally,
noise.
you can really knock the pictures off your wall in the house, the neighbors, and if we can't hear it in the street, it's not a violation of law.
So if my dad, who's 72 years old, and goes over and beats the crap out of him, then what's going to happen?
That would be a violation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or if we'd arrest him, we'd be sued for false arrest.
But the people
And
across
we-
the street
and if I-
even hearing.
And I think I know what
It's
you're
that
talking
annoying.
about. That, he was pulled over this week, and he was cited, and he does have a valid driver's license. And he was cited for another violation, and his car everything was good on it, because I went and backed the officer up on it.
The inspection sticker says 414. It's not
Well, maybe he had a
legal.
different car when he was pulled over.
Well, it was a blue van, so, I mean, with that being said, though,
It's sitting in the alley with an invalid inspection sticker.
A lot of
and
cars are
registration.
around here, and the
And now we
police
could take
does
it.
not enforce that.
Well, then go up into the alley.
Well,
What about the street?
and we do that. Do you know how many cars are Tamaqua? And when we see it, we ticket them.
I understand.
No, they don't.
And I think, I know that you don't want to hear this, but I'd ask for your patience. I think the chief and the mayor hear you loud and clear. The public meeting isn't the best place to talk about what's going to be enforced and what's not going to be enforced. My suggestion is that you meet with the chief and talk about some of the issues that are going on. And our police department typically do a very, very good job with these issues. They're often asked to get in the middle of neighbor disputes. That's not what police are for. The police are there for if there's a violation, a criminal violation, they're there to take action. So if you're aware of it, then they can do
well, that's just it. They moved in May 2nd, and already I'm calling the cops.
And that was twice that they were.
And then he had enough balls to put his hands on me. So, I mean, nothing gets done.
But you said the police did respond?
They did respond.
So, and often the police respond and there might not be anything that they can take action on.
Yeah, she said he was sleeping.
So Chief, would you be willing to meet with them and talk about some of those issues and have a sidebar conversation and see what can be done?
Director, do you need any name?
I did, but I didn't get her name and address.
Could I have your name and address
I
for
guess
the
there was
record?
another-
The black sweatshirt?
Yeah, first it was her.
Oh, what about the parking enforcement?
Yes, your name and address for the record.
Yolanda Dupatrocinio,
Could you spell that, please?
Patrocinio, 116 Clay Street.
And then there was a person behind her. too.
And the woman behind her, please?
Jamie Miller, 326 North Columbia.
Thank you.
I live in an attached house and I have 3 kids and 2 dogs, so my neighbor could be in here complaining about me because we sometimes, especially in the morning when the kids are getting up. at school. But if you can work with the chief, this is something that has to be handled properly, and if there's anything that can be done, our police can do it.
I'm just hoping, because I mean, I feel like I'm the first neighbor that's stepping ahead and saying something, you know, for my parents in their defense. There's people in and out of that house constantly, so hopefully something gets done.
Thank you. Anybody else from the floor wish to address council?
Hi, Andrew Latterduth, 429 Church Street, Tamaqua. In regards to the evicting tenants, I did some research on that before. People abuse that. So say you just don't like your neighbor. I'm just pointing out, people abuse that. A way around that is to contact before the landlord prior and ask the landlord, hey, can I see your agreement, your rental agreement, and make sure it's in the landlord can kind of do that, not the police. But it has to be at a criminal offense, though.
But wouldn't it be if only if the police found that complaint? They
That's
found
criminal.
it, yeah.
It was criminal,
Like,
yeah.
you know, I just think they should adopt that ordinance. I mean, it would get rid of a lot of trash around here.
Well, I agree. Problem is people will abuse it. That's the only problem.
I mean, I'm not saying that everybody that lives around here, but there's the people that face it. There's a lot of stuff going on in this little town. Everybody turns a blind
Yes,
eye
sir.
to
Your
it.
name and address for the record.
My name is William Bakula. I live at 319 Pine Street. At your last meeting, you reviewed and approved a handicap parking spot for Columbia Street. I'm guessing it was 320 Columbia Street. 316 Columbia Street. I have a bunch of questions to ask about this. I hope I can get some answers. My first question is, if the request was for 316 Columbia Street, why was the handicap spot put in front of my house? I'm the owner of 318. Handicap spot was put in front of my house. It doesn't make sense to me. If the person at 316 wants a spot, then put it in front of their house, don't put it in front of mine. That's the first question I'd like to have answered. The second question, I've been up there 2 or 3 times since this sign's been up, and I've noticed that the people parking in the parking spot don't have no placard, no plate, no nothing, and nothing's getting done about it. As per your handicap parking policy, the application must be made after acquiring a handicap license plate, placard, or disabled veteran's license plate. I know there's an application here. Was there nothing on the application that told you that they did not have any of these things? Or that's probably going to be my second question. My third question is, as for your Section F standards, no permit shall be granted where adequate handicap accessible off-street parking is available. They have a garage. What do they need a handicap spot for if they have their own garage? And for anybody who knows about Columbia Street, it's on a hill. You put a handicap spot on a hill instead of letting them park in their garage where it's flat. They can get out of their car at any time in their garage. And probably my last question will be is, if you plan on keeping it and it stays there, 2 months down the road from now, someone legally parks there with their placarded vehicle, gets out of their passenger side, and falls on my payment,
I hope you guys are paying the insurance. Because you put the parking spot there, I didn't put it there. I don't want it there. Okay, now they fall on my payment, now my insurance covers it? I don't think so. Okay, I'd like to have a bunch of these questions answered, and I'm gonna tell you all right now, I'm probably gonna be talking to my lawyer and my insurance carrier tomorrow about all of this to find out exactly what they can do about it too. So, I mean, I just don't understand why no one was notified. Automatically just, they put in for it and come to the meeting, it's a done deal. There's just too many questions as to why this was done. And I'm just here looking for answers. It's all about all I have.
There's 2 handicap parking spots there.
There are,
Back to
back.
Back to back, at the end of that block, at the end of the 300 block. There are-
I actually, my name
Your name and address?
is Jamie Coulthorne. I actually live at 318 Columbia Street. I have lived there for the last year and a half, and since I moved in, I was able to park in front of my house. That car is not parked in front of the house all the time. It is in the garage, she puts it in the garage at night. My husband works 12-hour days, 6 days a week. He doesn't get home till after 5:30 at night. By then, the car is in the garage, so why can't I park there? Why is there a handicap sign there when they don't park there? And now I can't park there either. I have to park down the street on the other block with my kids, and I have a toddler. It's not fair. I was never notified that that sign was being put up. Never. Nobody ever asked me if it could be put up in front of my house, if anything. I had called several of the borough, several of you, and made a complaint. And I was told that they were up there. They knew that there was a garage, that they were told that the neighbors would be okay with it. I'm the neighbor, and I'm not okay with it.
Okay, and the parking and traffic committee reviewed the application.
Yes.
Is there any,
We received an application for a handicap space at 316 North Columbia Street in May of this year. Okay? We reviewed it, and talked about it. I did several drive-bys in the neighborhood. The application basically listed a placard, which I was asked to review and verify, which I've done. It contained basically a doctor's note and an explanation of the issues relating to the applicant's health, copy of the placard, copy of the registration, as well as 2 pictures of the house. So after reviewing it and discussing it with the committee, I made a recommendation that we approve it. As we do with most handicapped approvals, it would be pending on locating the space as best we could within the block to accommodate the applicant. Okay? I'm not going to tell you that I'm the expert here, but I've done this for over 3-4 years now, maybe, and we have never, ever notified anyone other than the applicant that we were either doing it or we were denying it.
But it's in front of my house.
It's in front of a
It is
different
not
property.
in their front of their
It's
house.
in front of their house, fine and dandy. It's not in
Okay.
front of their
And
house.
Like I said, like he said, on the
Again,
winter time,
I'm not the expert in parking law in the borough of Tamaqua. But, okay, parking is always an issue in Tamaqua, okay? No one in Tamaqua, unless you do have off-street parking,
Which they
is
do.
entitled to park in front of their house 100% of the time. That's just the nature of the beast.
but can I say something, please?
Sure.
But I've lived there for a year and a half. In a year and a half, I've never had any trouble not parking in front of my house because their car was in their garage. It is still in their garage.
Right.
So
And
why is there a handicap spot there when they don't even use it? it.
Well, let me, if I could try to answer the 4 questions that you asked. I don't know that I could answer all 4 of them, but I think 3 of them I could probably give a shot. One, why in front of their house? My understanding is that they live on a corner, is that correct?
Yes.
Right.
And so there's a law that says you can't park within a certain distance of a corner. So to put the handicap parking spot in front of their house would create an illegal parking spot because it's too close to the corner.
But there's already a handicap parking sign right there. They are back to back. I live at 318, there's one on this side of me and there's one on this side of me.
But the answer to why it's in front of that house instead of in front of the house of the applicant is because the only parking spot in front of that house would be too close to the corner. Does that make sense? I know you don't like it, I know that you don't agree with it, but that's why.
On the other side of Glenwood Street.
The second issue, the second question that you raised was if there's somebody parking there that doesn't have a handicap parking plate or a placard, that's a violation. You can contact the police. They're very responsive because these spaces become issues in neighborhoods all the time. So if there's somebody parking there without a placard or without a plate, that's illegal, and they can't do that. If you call the police, I'm sorry?
The police department doesn't enforce that.
The police department does enforce it if they're pulled, and so they do. I mean, the police don't drive around looking for handicapped people parked, but they will respond to complaints. The fourth issue, the fourth question that you raised was about if somebody falls on your property. I'm not really sure that there's a real answer to that. It's a public right of way. It's public parking on the street. So you'd have that issue.
It's not public parking though, it's handicap parking, it's not public parking.
It is public parking.
So if someone parks there and gets out of their car, passenger side, and falls on my pavement, is my insurance responsible for it? That's what I'm asking you. That's what I'm gonna ask my insurance carrier tomorrow.
And all I can say is that you'd have the same issue whether it's a handicap spot or a public parking spot. And it still is a public parking spot. Anybody with a handicap plate or handicap placard could park there. So
And why couldn't they park in the one that's right behind that one? Why did you have to put a new one in?
That I can't answer, but I can tell you that anybody with a placard or plate could park in any handicap parking spot. They're not designated for a specific person.
So the other part of your standards here, where no permit shall be granted where adequate handicap accessible off-street parking is available.
Yeah, that was the third question. I don't know the answer to that. What I'd ask is maybe is the Parking and Traffic Committee to re-review the application and see.
Can I ask a question, because I don't have a very good idea of like the topography, I guess, of that area. Sure. Is the access from the garage to the primary level of the home or to the basement level?
There's stairs, but there's stairs to go up to the front porch too, so what difference does it
Well,
make?
that's why I suggest the Parking and Traffic Committee take a look at it, like go out there physically and take a look at it and review.
Well, the difference that would make is, and I think of like, I'll use East Broad Street as an example, where on the odd side of East Broad Street, the houses are at Broad Street level, but the garages in the back on East End Avenue come into their basements. So somebody could be, would be able to park in the garage and then wheel themselves, or whatever the case may be, ambulate in a handicapped condition to the basement level, and then be forced to go up a set of steps. Now, I understand you're saying, what if they have porches and there's a step or two? It's a difference, a step or two is different than 10.
But it shouldn't matter when they're out walking around all over town. He's
Well,
got a
now
handicap
you're
spot, he's walking all over the place.
We don't determine whether there's any merit to having a placard or a plate.
So, like I said, I don't know the situation there, but if the garage is significantly lower in elevation than the main level of the house, even though they have a garage, it's not necessarily accessible parking.
They're on the corner of Columbia and I believe it's Glenwood Avenue.
And their sidewalk runs right from the back of their garage all the way
Sidewalk runs
around.
straight back right out to the front of the house. Or the road runs straight out right to their house. I mean, yeah, they still have to go up steps, but they have to
So
go up steps
they'd
no
have
matter where
to
they
go
park.
up the hill on the street, is what you're saying?
No, they have a sidewalk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there a
limitation of how many handicap spots there are on per street, per block?
Yes. 2 per block.
Providing there's parking on both sides, but there's only parking on one side and only one per block.
So
Unless it's over 600 feet.
Right.
Yeah, and where are the rules?
So one block, there could be 2.
Yes,
Yeah.
and there's been 2 back-to-back in other areas.
And if you're the third applicant on a block that already has 2, you're out of luck until one of the other 2 becomes available. And that does happen.
Bill and Jamie, all I can tell you is that after I spoke to you, I wrote down the notes and I passed your thoughts and comments on to Tom and Dave. I also talked to them, I sent a couple emails to them recently about it, so we will take a look at this again as you're requesting and see if we can come up with some type of solution to what you've identified as being a problem.
That's all I'm asking. Like I said, I don't want winter to come and them to accidentally fall on my sidewalk and then I'm paying an arm and a leg for homeowner's insurance when I didn't ask for the sign to be there. Now I have to clear that spot. Am I correct? I have to clear the sidewalk in front of that handicap spot. Snow comes.
You have to clear
So
the
she has
sidewalk
access to her
regardless
car.
of what
Yeah,
space
I
is there.
understand that, but we only have to clear 3 feet of our sidewalk. We don't have to clear the whole thing. So if I take 3 feet from where the steps are and do 3 feet over and just put a pile of snow at the edge, that I'm not throwing it out in the street, because I'm not allowed
Bill,
to do that.
I can't address all the eventualities of this, I'm
Okay.
sorry. If 3 feet is what's required by law, then that's all you need to do.
As far as what I'm doing.
That's all you
Okay.
need to do.
Okay?
And I'd also ask the Parking Traffic Committee to just evaluate whether we should be granting any handicap parking spots. I mean, it's something that we started many years ago, and it often becomes a point of contention, something that we try to do as an accommodation for some of our residents who truly need it. This isn't the first time that it has created really severe hard feelings. I'm not saying we get rid of the program altogether, but we should at least look at whether or not we can and should. Because it does create a lot of hard feelings and not just in this neighborhood.
I mean, I'd hate to see anybody get denied a handicap parking spot, but parking is very limited in town already, and it is an issue. We do something about it.
And thank you. I'm sorry that you're having difficulties with this. We try to accommodate people. And we set up a handicap parking program. We try to limit how many spaces are available on each block. We try to come up with guidelines. We try to follow the guidelines. And oftentimes, it becomes a serious bone of contention. And understandably so. I can understand that. So the committee will take a look at it again. Anybody else on the floor? Mr. Kirby?
Herb Kirby, 118 Clay Street, Tamaqua. I don't know how many of you guys travel this street, but when in the world you're going to fix Fatara Street between Broad and Rose Street? It's deplorable.
That's, we have that on the schedule, but I don't recall when.
It's been that way for a long time, Kevin.
Yeah,
You
it's
know
been
that.
too long.
Yeah, it's
I
like a
can't give you
roller-
an
like a
exact
roller
date,
coaster,
but
yeah.
we're aware of it.
I hope it's not too long, because winter's coming and everything else like that. I mean, that's terrible.
That was started by the repairing of the sewer line there too.
I know that.
So it had been filled and thing, but it's settled, they have to do it again.
Right, it looks like it's pretty well settled now.
Yeah,
except
it is.
this way. So, the sooner the better.
Yep, I agree.
Mike, and one more thing. Talking about getting the roads fixed. Up on Columbia Street, they got like a fishbowl. And I mean, it's huge. Somebody's gonna end up with a flat tire. It's in front of, what's the address? About 323, 325. It's really huge. If we,
325?
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Kathy?
Kathy Kunkel, 420 Spruce Street. I'm just wondering if the Parking and Traffic Committee has decided what they're going to do about a request for no parking on Reese Street?
I saw your pictures that were reflective of the condition conditions that were in place in February or March timeframe, where there was a significant pile of snow piled up on the south side of that street. I'm not in the borough most of the time during school hours. Can I make a request of you for similar pictures of that same street now during school hours?
Sure, will you have the police ticket everybody who's parked with the wrong way going down Main Street, if I give you those pictures?
The answer is no.
No, I know the answer is no.
Police enforcement.
I know the answer is no. But Mr. Evans just got done saying that, only people who have off-street parking are guaranteed to be able to park at their house. I have off-street parking and I can't use it. I can't use it.
Today or during those pictures? Again,
Anytime.
the pictures that you sent us were the same
Yes.
pictures that were in the packet you brought us.
They were
the
from
last
March. The thing, I have 2 cars. I can only park one in my off-street parking, which is 2.5 spaces, because if I park 2 of them there, there's no way I can get out of my yard because of the cars across the street. You went and gave Bill Swank at 404 Spruce Street signs that say no parking between signs so that he can get into his off-street parking. You've given him that years ago, but you won't give the other 4 neighbors, the other 4 residents on that same block, the same privilege.
Well, we did meet with the school district after.
I don't care about the school district. They don't, it's not their street.
Yeah,
It's not their street. They're not going, they don't care. They don't care where those kids park. It's not their problem.
where exactly are you talking about? Right behind your house?
Behind my house, behind Kukowski's house, behind Sheetroom's house,
On
and
the north side
behind,
of the
Where
high
the
school
coal,
parking
where the
lot.
coal,
yes.
yeah, the coal truck parks there.
Yes, he
That
parks
side.
behind 406 Spruce Street where there is no garage. There's a garage, but the garage is sided over. They do not use it as a garage.
And you don't.
Or off-street
and
parking.
Does the rest of the neighborhood, they don't want parking there either?
She
gave
did come
you-
here with a petition from
We gave you a petition
other members.
from all 4 of those people in all 4 of those houses. Kirkowski's at 422, Kunkel's at 420, the Sheet Room's at 416, and the Lindenmuth's at 412.
Kathy, if I can help me understand, because you have driveways that go into your properties.
Into
the
my
back.
yard. Mhm.
So I'm still not, I guess I'm not understanding how you're able to turn the first car into that driveway, but you're not able to turn the second one in.
Because if you, and I'm up there every Sunday football game, so I see what you're dealing with. So but the point is, if they're parked this way, Dave, they're that close to try to come out and back out or come into their driveway. They need that extra space to be able to maneuver the car around to get out because they're
Yes.
right there.
Okay. I guess I'm just not.
I put my car in before the kids get to school.
Okay.
I mean, there's nobody parked there, there's no problem whatsoever. I can put both my cars out there and get out, in and out really easily. But it's just, it's
And it's
a
only
struggle.
during school hours, right? You have no issue any other time?
Except for football
Football
games,
games,
Justin,
yeah,
but you
there's-
know that,
and
yeah.
any other event that's.
And any other event at the school.
And I go back to my original statement that I agree with you that, we did some parking changes for the deli up there, so you lost some
I
area.
lost 2 spaces out front.
You have the school there as well, and I understand that, I'm just gonna ask this one last time, and I asked it last time. So if we make a no parking on that street for that block, we realize that those residents that live there cannot park there as well.
Right.
And I'm assuming that mostly everybody's got the off-street parking, so I'm assuming that they don't do that. But just so we know that if it's no parking, it's no parking all the time for everybody, not school hours, not residents, everything else.
If you go from the west end of the property at 406 Spruce Street to the east
I
end
wouldn't
of.
even go through, what's the
Yeah.
street? So you've got Lehigh Street
It's
and
Cole,
Cole
from
Street.
Cole to Lehigh. There's a legal space behind 406, that there's a garage there, but it's sided over. They do not use it as a garage or as off-street parking. So you could leave that space there, but at the end of that space and going up to the west end of 422, if you could make that particular area no parking, it takes away 5 parking spaces, but it leaves 3 on the street.
Sorry, say that again?
If you, from 406, I gave Kevin a photo, from 406 to
I mean, I gotta be
422.
honest with you, Kathy, if I'm sitting here thinking about doing this, I'm not gonna say 1 or 2 spots, it's gonna be the whole street.
That's
From
fine by
Cole
me.
to whatever. I mean, because I don't want the argument coming in, well, the sign's here and there's really 2 spots, there may be 3 spots. If we're gonna do it, let's do it.
The only person who parks on the street who lives in that block is Butch Bankus, puts his coal truck there occasionally, but he could put
He'll be here
it.
next
So
meeting.
we're next meeting.
Occasionally, he doesn't park it there all the time. He has off-street parking on the side of his house.
And I guess all I'm saying about, you know, the pictures that we're getting with the petition were, I
Yes.
think you'd have to admit a
Oh, that was.
worst-case scenario
Oh my,
of,
that was terrible.
yeah,
Yeah.
but an anomaly in terms of how far out.
That was all winter long though.
Yeah,
Last
it was a
year.
bad winter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And lots of blocks had snow parked until we could remove them.
Yes.
Or built up until we could remove them.
Did somebody say that there was ample parking at the school, there was empty spots?
There is.
I took some pictures, it's kind of tough to see on my cell phone. Approximately 100 pictures, 100 spots at the top of the middle school entrance. About 10 spots along the face of the middle school. Approximately 10 all in each and every one of the lots. So there's the upper paved lot, the middle third lot, and the lower third lot. About 10 spaces in each one. I looked about 3 or 4 different days prior to lunchtime and after lunchtime, and found those spots available on a regular basis. Now, what I would say is, at this point in the year, there was not as many cars on Cole Street, Ray Street, or Spruce Street as we'll see as the year goes on, because the people who are getting their licenses through the year are not eligible to get spaces from, according to last year's plan.
Yes.
We're not eligible to get spaces from the school district because you have to have them by August. So it will increase as the year goes on
Every
and the
month
drivers
before.
start with the school district. Has that plan changed with your conversation with them? I don't know.
No.
But I can tell you there is ample parking within the school district property if you space it out between the middle school and all the lots. On more of a first come, first serve versus you get a permanent spot whether you drive to school or you don't.
I mean, the school district doesn't want to let the kids use the middle school lot because the band has to practice there. Okay?
And they
Doesn't
do
seem
that
like
during the school day.
it doesn't sound to me like it's a really good use of your parking lot, but okay, if that's what you say.
They don't have enough field to practice on.
Currently, right now, the other parking lots have enough spaces day in and day out to fulfill the amount of cars that are placed on Cole, Race, and Spruce Street. Will that change as the year goes on? Absolutely, there will be more cars involved. Currently, right now, there's more than enough space to supply those vehicles, a location on school property.
You know, look, I'm not going to any great length to defend the school district here and their parking lot policy, but the band practices from 2 to 3 during one of the scheduled school periods. So students park there while they're still in school. Their cars are there when the band needs that area to practice.
I'm just saying, you know, that, and I can understand why that's a school district priority more than parking for the students, but that's the school district priority. That has nothing to do with me, and it has nothing to do with council and that street and Ray Street, because that's not school district property.
Make a motion to post Ray Street from Cole to Lehigh, no parking either side.
Motion by Brian, second by Justin. Anybody have any questions or comments? Anybody from the floor wish to address this motion?
Okay, I'll amend my motion to say to advertise for an ordinance to post the street for Cole up Lehigh for Ray Street.
Amended motion. Justin's okay with the second. Anybody have any questions or comments?
That would be, to clarify, that's no parking of any kind, correct?
Correct. Anybody from the floor wish to address this motion?
And you're allowed, when will this go through? It's advertised, but when is it?
It has to be
We have
advertised
to
as an
advertise
ordinance.
it twice.
Twice, okay.
10 days apart. Once,
Yes.
Once 7 days prior
once 7 days prior.
to the next meeting.
So we'd probably vote on it, we'd advertise it hopefully before our next meeting and then vote on it at our next meeting.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, no. The ayes have it.
Thank you, Mr. Conley, Mr. Sturgill.
Anybody else from the floor wish to address council about any matter? Solicitors report.
He's got some litigation stuff, but there's nothing to do with the construction.
We have the reports of the various departments of the borough.
Motion to accept the letter.
There's a motion by Dave and a second by Justin to accept the department reports. Anybody have any questions or comments?
You don't want me to say
Anybody
anything
from the
on the
floor wish
record.
to address this motion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Anyone opposed, no. The ayes have it. Unfinished business.
Well, it's unfinished. Snow removal. It's that time of the season where we started talking about it last year. I was wondering if we could do a meeting together to discuss what we're going to do for this season. Because I mean, there's already reports of, weather forecasts are saying that this snow season can be pretty hectic as last year. So if we could sit down and discuss and make the changes that we have to make now instead of waiting till then. Because I know there were some discussions that Dan had some ideas with equipment, lining up what we had, what we needed to do, preparations, maybe possibility of doing different things with snow removal this year. I don't want to wait until we get our first one for the snow and we're going crazy trying to figure out what's going to happen.
Do you want to lead an ad hoc committee, look at snow removal?
Yeah.
And then report back to the next one. Anybody want to serve on that committee with us? You two can meet with the cabinet and Rob, and talk about what the plan is. Dave?
Sure.
Thank you. Any other unfinished business? Bills and claims.
Brian and I met yesterday with Amy and on the borough, on the motion to pay bills.
I'll second that motion. Motion by Tom, second by Justin, to pay the bills and claims against the borough. Anybody have any questions or comments? Anybody from the floor wish to address this motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, no. The ayes have it. New business. None? Do we need an executive session?
Request an executive session to discuss personnel matters.
Do we have a second?
Second that.
Motion by Dave, second by Dan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, no. The ayes have it. The Borough Council is going to go into an executive session to discuss personnel matters.
Increase Michelle Barron's raise as she moves from the billing and utility clerk into Donna White's job at a rate of $17 an hour.
Second. We have a motion by Tom and a second by Brian. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
Clarification, that would be effective upon Donna vacating the current position, is that correct?
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? Anybody from the floor wish to address this motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, no. Ayes have it. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Ayes have it. Thank you.